Where did you put the light on? And where you went?
That's what it used to be.
It is 6:30 PM and I call this meeting to order. Please stand and we'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Winona City Council. This evening, I don't have any comments. City Manager Chad Ubel.
Mayor and council likewise.
Ooh, fast one tonight. All right. Yeah, no.
Heaven can wait.
I'll now ask the city clerk to take roll call.
Mayor Scott Sherman.
Here.
Councilmember Young.
Here.
Moeller.
Here.
Alexander. Iden.
Here.
Borzakowski.
Here.
Pinsky.
Here.
Under the required public hearings, item 2.1 is the proposed liquor license fees for 2023.
For each public hearing, staff will make a short presentation, and then I will ask if anyone from the public wishes to speak to the matter. Each person needs to clearly state your name and address, and you will be given up to 3 minutes to make your testimony. I will call 3 times for public comments for each hearing. Once the hearing is closed, the public may not participate in the discussion by city council. Tonight, our first one is the liquor fees. Who from staff is presenting this evening?
So Mayor and Council, I presented to you the list of the proposed increases. They have not been changed in approximately 2 years, and they're about a 3% increase in each type of fee.
Okay, I will now open the public hearing regarding the proposed liquor license fees for 2023. Does anybody from the public wish to speak regarding the matter? Again, does anybody from the public wish to speak regarding the proposed liquor fees for 2023? And once again, does anyone from the public wish to speak regarding item 2.1, proposed liquor license fees for 2023? Hearing no one, I will now close the public hearing.
Mayor, I move we introduce the attached ordinance.
Second that.
We have a motion from Eileen, a second from Pam. Any discussion from council? George?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to commend the city clerk for her work with establishments over the last couple of years. She did very, very well with that, helping them out. It's been my, I guess it's been my thing for the past 20 years where I did not support a liquor license increase, and I will do that again tonight, but nothing against no one, a job well done. So thank you.
Thank you, George. Any other comments, questions, or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item 2.2 is to levy assessments for the 2022 sidewalk replacement project.
And tonight we have city engineer Ryan Miners.
So this is just our yearly sidewalk project. The accessible portion, we're just looking for sidewalk that's causing hazards, trippers, sidewalk falling in place that needs repair. This year we are between Franklin and Chestnut, and tonight we've got 100 properties being assessed.
We'll now open the public comment regarding levy assessments for the 2022 sidewalk replacement project. Does anybody from the public wish to speak on this matter? Once again, does anyone from the public wish to speak regarding levy assessments for the 2022 sidewalk replacement project? And lastly, would anybody like to speak regarding 2.2 levy assessments for the 2022 sidewalk replacement project? Hearing none, I will now close the Public hearing?
Mayor, I would move to approve the attached resolution, adopt the attached resolution.
Second.
We have a motion from George, a second from Steve. Any comments, questions, or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 2.3 is to levy assessments for the 2022 miscellaneous utilities project.
Again, we have city engineer Ryan Miners.
So this one's just our yearly miscellaneous utilities one for people being assessed for sewer and water access fees and water repair or water line repairs. Pretty short list this year. We've just got one property with sewer and water fees and 3 with the water line repair.
Thank you. I will now open the public hearing regarding levy assessments for the 2022 miscellaneous utilities project. Does anybody from the public wish to speak on the matter? Again, does anybody wish to speak regarding the levy assessments for the 2022 miscellaneous utilities project? And lastly, would anybody from the public wish to speak regarding item 2.3 levy assessments for the 2022 miscellaneous utilities project? Hearing no one, I will now close the public hearing.
I move to adopt the attached resolution and levy the assessments.
Second.
We have a motion from Eileen, a second from Steve. Any discussion, questions, comments from council? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 2.4 is the proposed 2023 South Baker Street reconstruction project.
3 times the charm, Ryan.
Well,
You guys are gonna get sick of me tonight. So yeah, this one, South Baker, same thing as what we bid in the spring. We'll be reconstructing South Baker from Gilmore to Fifth. That'll be water, storm, and sanitary or sewer. Yeah, nothing's really changed, just getting it bid earlier this year because we've heard of still having a lot of material issues, so getting it out the door sooner and hopefully eliminate any issues. Gilmore intersection will require being built in the summer once school is out. And then we'll also require the project to be complete before the following school year.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. I'll now open the public hearing regarding the proposed 2023 South Baker Street reconstruction project. Sir, you wish to speak on the matter? Did you want to comment regarding the South Baker reconstruction project? Come on up to the mic, please. We'll need you to state your name and address, please. And you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
My name is William Grant. I live on South Baker Street.
What's your address, please?
267.
Very good, thank you.
As a resident of this city for 81 years, I really don't like to be taxed for something that goes to hell right away. And I've seen it all over this city. You want to tear up South Baker and repair it. It was done once. The street from the high school to Broadway was torn apart and rebuilt. And now you turn on the street at high school and it's fallen apart. I've been after the city for years and years and years. I lived in that house for about 50 years, so I know South Baker very well. You can't keep the doggone semis off that street and they're butchering it. Under the blacktop in front of my house is brick. It's still brick. I have pictures of it, and when it rains, it fills with water. I don't really want to spend my money on a street that you're going to continually allow the semi traffic to ruin it. If you get in your car and you drive the city, Broadway is the same way, South Baker is going apart. I've called the police department on it and they say, well, the truck drivers don't like to make the turns that they have to make. Well, that's tough. They don't live here, they don't pay taxes. Now, you want me to up the taxes on my house to pay for something I know in 10 years is going to be gone. and I don't really particularly like it. South Baker on the west side is lower than the one on the east side. Because Quick Rip come in and they built this monster across the street from me and they raised their side. The city sent a surveyor up there to look over some stuff. He said for something the city was gonna do. But he couldn't figure out why the west side was lower than the east side. Back behind us, we had a trucking outfit and their semis used to pull in there and park in front of my house. They park in the middle of the street. Well, we got them to quit that, but they still use it. I stood in my front yard and counted shifts of a semi coming up South Baker from Sarnia Street. He shifted 4 times coming across the intersection. Now that street is not built to handle that. I see tank trucks coming down, Quick Rip tank trucks coming down Broadway. I asked him how much one of those weighs. He said a full one weighs 10,000 pounds. Those streets are not made for that. The semis are coming up South Baker, South Baker, Huff Street, and then they come up Broadway. Our whole city is torn apart by semis. I call my city councilwoman, she don't answer her telephone, she don't call back, she don't do nothing. I call the police department, they don't do anything. I think the city council should start looking at how they're gonna spend the money up there. It's gonna go straight down the tube in about 10 years. It won't take it. If you're gonna build that street, so it's a 10-ton street, you might get away with it. But if you're just gonna go in there and tear it up and put in new blacktop, it's not gonna work. Now, for goodness sake, some of you ought to go out and drive around your city and look at what happened. Drive down Broadway. For crying out loud, for 50 years, I haven't seen ruts in Broadway like we have now, but a few years ago, they quit taking the trucks off Broadway. They can run from east to west, complete. And before you throw some extra taxes on my house for fixing a street, I know it's gonna go to heck. I don't like it. I think you need a better plan. You do a little more digging in it. You're throwing away money. And it's just gonna go down the tube as fast as it can. I can't say it any clearer. I just don't want to give you the money for it until I have some kind of a notification that you're gonna do something about it. I talked to the city. I was in city chambers with the city and we'll change the truck route signs. They never touched them. They mean nothing, absolutely nothing in the city. They go wherever they want to go, whenever they want to go, and the weight is not checked. I followed one from Highway 61 all the way down to Second Street, where we made a right-hand turn. You've rebuilt that street coming across the lake. And if you go down there, you can start seeing and feeling spots that are going down the tube. So I guess that's, I'm not supposed to get wound up. I just got a pacemaker not too long ago. But I do. Because like I say, I've spent 81 years in Winona. And they don't do a thing for me. They don't listen. They don't care. They were told. I lived with, my neighbor was an over-the-road driver from coast to coast and border to border. I had a nephew that was a truck driver. He moved overweight stuff all over the United States and into Canada. I had a friend, the best friend I ever had in my life. He was a truck driver. He told me what was going to happen, and it has happened. We have garbage streets in the whole city. They come down, throw a little blacktop in it and run over it with something to smooth it out. And 3 months later, it's breaking out.
We've hit time.
Pardon?
We're at 3 minutes.
Am I done?
If you'd like to be done, yes, that would be helpful. Yep,
Yeah, that would be helpful. I'm done. Yeah, at least you know, I don't want to give you the money.
understood. Thank you. Does anybody else from the public wish to speak to proposed 2023 South Baker reconstruction project? Yes, sir. Please state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Richard Fromm, 903 West Seventh and South Baker. The paperwork we've received a couple times lately. I can go over some of my notes. The first one was sent in on 3/7 of 22. The reasonable estimate of the 22 assessment property owners for South Baker improvement was $31,320. It was divided between 15 property owners, which would be $2,088 each. Well, because of the delays in putting out the bidding and such, whatever, was way behind. That went kaput, didn't happen. Now, well, basically 6 months later, coming up for this next year, we just got a new statement in the mail. The improvement went up to $43,500. So it's divided between 15 of us property owners. The cost of each owner will go up with that bump another $812 above the $2,088. It's $812 more in 6 months from this one to the one we just received coming up next year. That's a pretty big bump. It's almost a third, and it's kind of hard to come up with money that it's a excessive amount, I thought, to go up. I realized that the costs will go up, but this should have been done with. And if it wouldn't have been the city not following through and getting their bids out earlier, like I said, this first one just came out. It's supposed to have been for this summer, was sent out on 3/8 of 22. So that was this March. How can they get bids and stuff out in that short of a time? This one, at least for this coming year, was sent out. I received or sent. It was dated 9/20 of 22, which at least you're getting ahead of the game, but just seems awful excessive. I got to pay another $812 more on top of that because the city didn't get their bids out last year. That's a lot of money for me. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else from the public wish to speak regarding the proposed 2023 South Baker Street reconstruction project? I'll ask one more time. Does anybody from the public wish to speak regarding public hearing item 2.4, proposed 2023 South Baker Street reconstruction project? Hearing none. I'll now adjourn the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to adopt the attached resolution to order the improvements and advertise for bids.
I'll second that.
We have a motion from Eileen, a second from Aaron. Any comments, questions, or discussion? George?
Yes, just a couple of comments. First of all, the first gentleman that spoke, I totally agree with him. I think our whole truck route map needs to be relooked at and maybe need to be redrawn. I know there's trucks all over the town that don't belong on these streets. They use them for exit to get to a business. And, you know, they're not even close to that business, but I think we need to really look at that. And is there anything at all that we could do about the price increase? And then Ryan, if you could explain just what's all going to be done as far as construction on South Baker.
Yep, For the price, we're kind of at the mercy of the contractor. The original estimate that went out last year was based on previous pricing. From what we see in the pricing, I mean, every single project, not just ours, prices are way up right now. Bids last year for the water repair, we had one bid that was around the 2,500, and we also had one that was, I think, about half the price. So the 2,500 hopefully will be worst case scenario. Maybe it'll be quite a bit less. As for construction, everything will be brand new. All utilities will be replaced. That brick that the first gentleman spoke of, that will be removed. We'll put in new rock base. We'll put in 4 inches of blacktop. So the pavement structure will be significantly better.
Okay, Steve?
So when this project, oh,
Sorry, George, go ahead and please finish.
so when this project goes out for bids, could that number be a little bit lower?
Yep,
Okay. So this is the engineer's estimate.
correct. Yep.
Okay.
Steve?
Brian, just so I understand, this is a street reconstruction. So where we've seen, you know, we might have repairs, we might have mill and overlay, but this street has, since it's brick, may never have had a true reconstruction where you're going down what? 18 inches, 24 inches?
We'll be, foot and a half. Yep.
Okay. Now, are you pulling out, I'm sorry, were we pulling out sewer and water as well?
Correct. Yeah.
So we're
I mean,
excavating.
We'll actually be down 7-8 feet.
Right.
To get to utilities. The actual pavement structure will be, I believe, 8 inches of rock, 4 inches of asphalt. So we'll actually have a foot of actual pavement structure.
So that we all understand, the public understands, this is a street reconstruction.
Yep.
This isn't a repair, and this is mill and overlay. Probably the first time in 100 years, whatever, that's ever happened with this street.
Yep, on South Baker. more
Okay,
than
and
likely.
so likely till, well, not likely, it better last.
Yeah.
Quite a bit longer,
Yeah.
right? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Eileen?
I wanted to echo what George said about the trucks. I think since I started on council, that's the thing I get the most calls about, are trucks going on Harvester, trucks going on Sude, trucks going through all of these little side streets on the west side that are not built to handle them. And not only are they doing damage to the roads, but they are extremely disruptive. Like, there are a lot of people that just can't sleep for the trucks. And I realize we can do signage and things like that, but I think it would benefit us to talk with the businesses that are bringing in and sending out those trucks, because they're far more likely to have results than signs are. And then, I also had a question about the difference in the assessment. That is, I guess I have a hard time understanding why we're expecting because this is a state aid street, right?
Mhm.
So how much state aid did we receive for this project?
I'm expecting it'll be roughly 1.7 million will be paid from state aid money.
Okay, and then the city covers the remainder.
Correct. Yep. The rest will be paid from our sewer and water accounts. Yep.
Okay, and then just so I and anyone who's listening understand, the reason that the residents on that street have these extra fees levied on their property is because of the sewer and water replacement?
Yep. So the homeowners, they own that water line from the main up to their house. So that's what they're getting charged for, is just that water main or that water service replacement.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because I mean, I think that the difference in the estimated assessment is really dramatic, and that could be a lot for folks over
Yeah.
1 year.
And like I
so-
said, that hopefully that's worst case scenario. It's just dependent on what we get for bids. So.
Okay,
All good, Eileen?
that's the end of my questions.
Just a comment, and I'm reiterating what several of my council people have said. Is there anything we can do about the trucks going where they should not be and the kind of damage they do to the roads in the city that they don't pay for?
I mean, ultimately, it kind of comes down to enforcement, but at the same time, the police or whoever actually has to be out there to witness it. I mean, engineering wise, we can't really do a whole lot. We can put signs up, we can make truck routes, but end of the day, engineering, we can't enforce that either, so.
Well, if it is, but if it is excessive, we can put cameras in to capture the trucks that are going on streets. They shouldn't be after hours. Okay, and we can connect with them that way.
Mhm.
And from what I've heard, I think that's worth doing.
Something we can look into then. Yep.
Aaron, you got anything? No?
I'm not gonna reiterate everything that's already.
Yeah,
been
sure.
said.
A couple questions, and I apologize for not knowing. South Baker is a truck route?
No,
It is
it
not.
is not.
Okay,
No.
okay. And then, I don't know if you would know, but I know a few times I live close to there. I live Lincoln and Ninth, and I've seen trucks come down through there. In fact, they're lost when they come through there. I had to help one guy back out of a dead end on Lincoln there. Just because he didn't have sight lines. That's another reason why trucks shouldn't be down there, is they don't have sight lines to get around those corners. Do you know, the way he had described it to me was that he got pointed down that road by GPS. And from my understanding is, in general, semis have GPS units that are meant to bring them on truck routes for the most part, and those are signified in the GPS units. Do you know, I don't know, do you know anything about those GPS units and how those work in terms of, because most trucking companies do use GPS. Not only can they make it more efficient for fuel, and also they can get there in a more efficient manner, but also it allows them to track where those trucks are in case of theft or whatever. But do you know anything about those, or can you speak to that at all? Like if we had access to heat maps, for instance, in terms of what was going down the wrong routes, is there any way electronically to track that?
I guess not that I'm aware of. I think there is some kind of a truck GPS, but I don't know if all trucks have that either or not. And
Sure.
if they don't have it, they're gonna go where their GPS tells them. So.
Yeah, and the bigger companies would probably have
Yeah,
that.
so I
Smaller
can't really
companies
speak to
wouldn't.
that one for sure.
Okay, all right. That's all the questions I have. George?
I know in my career at Peerless Jane, working with the truck drivers, at that time, their GPSs would take you to the business, but they were not designed to put you on truck routes. And maybe that's changed now, I don't know, but I know about 5 years ago, it was not. So.
Yeah, and I, you know, like I was at Quick Trip yesterday on South Baker, and I did notice that there was a tanker truck out there, but he had access from Fifth onto South Baker and then came in around there. Just something I had noticed in this specific instance. Any other comments, questions, or discussion? George?
Now Broadway, that is not a truck route, correct?
Correct.
I know they're all using it now because of the roundabout reconstruction. So, you know, hopefully that will, once that's opened up, that will be done. So.
Okay. Any other comment? Yeah, Eileen?
I just have a comment. I think that this street is badly in need of repairs. I live just a few houses down from this gentleman who spoke, and I walk on South Baker every single day, twice a day. And I think it really needs to be improved, but because of how much the folks are going to be levied for this, I will not be able to vote in favor of it.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, discussion?
Mr.
Can I
Mayor,
ask a question? Who's that?
this is
was-
city
Oh.
attorney.
Yes.
So, since this is ordering an improvement project and it would appear that Councilmember Alexander is missing, you need 6 votes to approve this.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Chris. Steve,
Can we move to table?
I believe we can. Need a motion for that?
I'll make a motion that we table this until we
Second.
have. a
Would it be
sufficient vote.
postponed or table?
Postpone.
Postpone.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Chris. Okay, motion to postpone. And a second from Steve, yes?
Mhm.
Okay. All those in favor of postponing this vote, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved.
Then moving on to the petitions, requests, and communications. Item 3.1 is an appointment to the Planning Commission of Matt Esch.
So move.
Second.
Motion from George, second from Eileen. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 3.2 is a request for no parking on East Sanborn Street.
Move to approve the attached ordinance.
Second.
Motion from George, second from Eileen. Any discussion? George?
Yeah, just, excuse my voice, but just what this is it's on the corner of Inova and Jefferson Street. If you're traveling south on Jefferson and you want to go east, there's blockage from that corner, which makes it hard to see. Going west is fine. It's just going east, and that should resolve this, so. And then they'll have a sign there then for the winter time.
And this is in front of a residence as well, right? I believe. Yeah.
Right, but that resident accesses his property off of Jefferson Street.
Okay, cool. Any other comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Under new business, item 5.1 is the 2023 City Health Insurance Recommendation on Health Plan Design.
Approve the City Health Insurance Committee's recommendations for 2023.
Second.
Motion from Eileen, second from Steve. We do have Mercer on the line still, if anybody has any questions. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.2 is the 2023 ancillary benefits.
Move to approve the ancillary benefits.
Second.
Motion from George, second from Eileen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.3 is the dental insurance coverage and rates.
Move to approve the city's dental insurance plan.
Second.
Motion from Steve, second from Eileen. We do still have Mercer on the line if anybody has any questions.
Good job tonight.
Yes, thank you again to everyone from Mercer. They're off the line anyway. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.4, the transit policy updates.
Motion to adopt the attached resolution.
Second.
We have a motion from Eileen, second from Steve. Any comments?
Does the clerk have anything to add or?
Do you have anything to add?
No.
No.
Questions.
Good.
Unless you have questions. Any questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.5 is the 2023 fire engine purchase.
Move to approve the purchase agreement and reimburse for the payment, and the bond proceeds would be in order.
I'll
Second.
second that.
Motion from George. We'll take Aaron on this one as a second. Any comments, questions, or discussion? We do have Chief Biddle here. George?
Does he have anything he wants to say or?
Mayor and Council, I'd just like to apologize for the late entrance into the contract. You were handed it just maybe half hour ago. Legal was working on the contract. They didn't finish up till Friday afternoon, so I apologize. And the speed of this is kind of important because we have a November 1st bump in the fire truck cost. So it was kind of an expedited process trying to get this all put together, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Biddle. Thanks for saving the taxpayers some cash. Any other comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.6 is the plat review for the Winona Mall second subdivision.
I would motion to approve the attached resolution.
Second.
We have a motion from George, a second from Steve. Eileen, you have a question?
Yes, I'm just curious what instigated this plat review and why we're splitting a parcel where we're drawing a line through a building?
Evening, Mayor and Council. The plat review for this is primarily due to a potential sale of a portion of the property. And so what it would do is split the existing mall building into two so that one of the portions could be sold in the future. One of the key provisions is that a firewall be put in between the two. The property owner is aware of that, and there does appear to be a firewall in that general location right now. But what we're recommending as a condition is just to make sure that that firewall that is put in or that is already there meets building code.
Okay, thank you.
Carlos, this did get through planning with a unanimous decision, is that correct?
That's correct. And if there's any specific questions related to the plat itself, the applicant, one of the representatives from Johnson and Schofield, Brian Woodley, is here as well.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions, comments, discussion?
I have another question.
Please.
Is this something that we've seen happen before where a plat is being split through a building? I guess I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around splitting a parcel when there's a building on it already or straddling it.
Generally, it does not, but from time to time it does happen. And this is exactly what we would like to see when there's a property line going through the middle of a building. What we don't like to see is a building being built across a property line. So this is actually a good thing, I would say. So, yep.
Any other comments, questions, discussion?
I would note it's frequent in residences, zero lot lines, twin homes. This is in residences, this is common. It's a little more uncommon, at least in Winona, in a commercial setting, very common in residences. They're being built today.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, any more comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And item 5.7 is the bituminous pavement expense.
Move to approve, what are we doing here? Approve the spending of $29,366 from account number 431204501 Blacktop Services.
Second.
Very good, George. Motion from George, second from Eileen. Any discussion?
Did it without my glasses.
Put that comment on the record. He did that without his glasses. Any other comments, questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 7.1 is council concerns.
Councilmember Worzakowski.
Thank you, Mayor. And again, I apologize for my voice, but it is getting better, I think. Just one thing tonight, I would just like to extend condolences to the family of Mike Wynn. Mike, who was a business proprietor, one of our pub owners in the city of Winona for almost 30 years. And he operated the Handy Corner Bar, and he has passed away last night. So condolences to his family as they begin their healing process. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, George. Councilmember Iden. Okay. Councilmember Mueller.
Oh, I wanted to know if we could, now that we've had our public comment guidelines in place for a little while, if we could take a look at, or if maybe next meeting, someone could give a little bit more clarification on the 12-month rule that several people have brought up, because I think a good point has been made that I understand that that's probably in place to disencourage one person coming to every single public forum and talking about the exact same thing, but there has to be a good middle ground because, as folks pointed out, things do change. So I think that folks should be able to comment more than once within a year on the same topic. But maybe we can find some sort of guideline in the middle there.
Would you have a suggestion?
I mean, I think time is difficult, but I think a lot in our rules leaves it up to the discretion of the mayor. So if we do see the same person coming every single time to talk about the exact same thing, I think it would be reasonable to say, hey, we heard you last week, you said the same thing, and move on to the next person. But I think that would more be a question for our legal folks.
Okay. Thanks. Is that all, Eileen? Tonight? Okay. Councilmember Young.
No comments tonight.
Okay. Councilmember Ripinski.
Thank you, Mayor. Also want to offer condolences to the Reed family for their family loss recently. To expand a little bit farther on Eileen, I think, I agree with that. I think if we had to put a date or a timestamp on it, 60 or 90 days, I think is realistic. I don't know what other communities do that are our size in our area, but it would be nice to give people a chance to comment more often than once a year. But I agree there needs to be some sort of number there that, we can't have you every single meeting saying the same exact thing.
Right. More
Thank
work
you.
for me.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah. Thank you, Mayor.
To shut them down. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Aaron. Anything else? Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion. Oh, sorry.
Moving on to the consent agenda, we have 4 items: approval of the minutes from October 3rd, the final adoption of an ordinance to establish no parking bus zone on Main Street, and 2 claims, one by Matthew Steele and the second by Don Dollar.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion from Eileen, second from Steve. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Mayor, it's 7:10. I move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion from George, second from Eileen. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.